Hello and welcome to Connected episode 343. It's made possible this week by our sponsors, Privacy, Memberful, and Bombas. My name is Stephen Hackett, and I'm joined by my friend, Mr. Myke Hurley.
Hello.
Hey, bud.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Fine and dandy.
Fine and dandy.
Yeah, both.
Well, let's see if Federico Vitici can top that. Federico, how are you?
Buonasera, Stephen Hackett. How are you?
Oh,
Ciao.
Bella.
Why do you always say that?
Ciao, Bella. It's just they go together, don't they?
Well, sure. But there's...
This is like one of those, I don't know, like those... I can't think of the wording really, but it's like a... People say it. It's like just one of those phrases, like a pop culture phrase
Right.
that doesn't really...
Well, you...
It doesn't really mean anything.
For you.
us. Yeah, it doesn't
Sure.
really mean anything for me, you know?
Right.
It's like, say something a British person would say.
Like tally-ho.
Yeah, there you go. No one says that. Nobody says that.
not
Right?
a pirate.
I have never heard someone say that unironically. Like, it doesn't happen, you know?
Really?
There's a Ciao Bella Italian grill here in Memphis.
Sure.
It's
I
actually
mean, why not?
right around the corner from my house.
Yep.
So I'll send you guys the website. Maybe you can pick something out, order it online, have it delivered.
Ciao, Bella.
I have some tracking drama to share with y'all.
Woo.
Do you remember Chipotle, the burrito company that was making AirTag
Chipotle.
clones?
Mm-hmm.
And Apple announced them and the dog cow bike on the same day?
Yes.
Well, Chipotle has come out with an ad for the One Spot, which is their tracker that works with Find My. That's supposed to come out, I think it's in June. And this ad says, attaches directly to your keyring, no accessory needed. And it's these pictures because this thing has a hole punched in it and it comes with a keyring. So you don't have to buy a $29 or $449 luggage tag or something to attach this to your things.
I mean, that's fine.
I like the spice.
Like, yeah, I mean, well, they've got to do something because they don't really have much of a competitive edge at this point, do they?
No, they don't. I think I said it in our episode covering the event. I love that the Apple person who, when she was announcing this, she's like, "We're so glad to join the ecosystem of trackers." I'm like, "What ecosystem? You announced 2 things a week ago that aren't shipping yet."
Our ecosystem, and don't you forget it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like the Obama meme with Obama giving himself a medal. Have you ever seen that? It's kind of like that.
Oh, yeah, like where someone's photoshopped
Yes.
himself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just, I'm staying on top of these other Find My device makers because I'm convinced this thing is never going to ship.
The Chipotle?
Yeah. I mean, it may. I'm on their list to be told when it's available.
I'm on Team Chipotle myself. I believe in them.
Oh.
Yes.
All
I mean,
right.
only like in spirit. I'm not gonna buy a Chipotle, but I like to say I'm on Team
That's
Chipotle.
not, you're not really on the team then, are
That's
you?
a nice ring to it, though. Say I'm on Team
It's
Chipotle.
not.
You know,
I feel like to be on their team, you kind of need to buy their product. Otherwise, you're kind of, I don't know, you're just like an admirer.
sure. I guess I'm a Chipotle admirer. Yes,
Whatever floats your boat.
iOS 14.5 has come out.
that is true.
Is it anything we should know about in there?
Well, there's a bunch of things, and to me, usually the proof of like the popularity of certain features is how long it takes my quote unquote normal friends to mention them to me. And sure enough, today I was able to meet up with a bunch of friends, and one of them immediately said, "Oh, by the way, I did the software update yesterday because of the Face ID with the mask unlock."
Yeah.
And I was like, "There you go. Of course you like." I had a feeling that this was gonna be like the feature for people, and the fact that it took like basically 2 days to hear the first mention, I think it's a pretty good sign that this is going to be popular. And my friend's assessment of the functionality is pretty much what we've all been saying. Like, it's not perfect. Sometimes it gets it wrong and it still asks me for a passcode. But overall, like, this is so much better than before. And yeah, that's essentially what this feature does.
Yeah, that's been my experience because I ran the 14.5 beta, but I did not put the beta on my Apple Watch, and so this is the first time I've gotten to use it. It's really pretty great. I agree that on occasion I've had it miss, but I'd say 9 times out of 10 it does what it's supposed to do. I shared this on the MPU episode that's coming out Sunday, but Mary had heard about this. Like they were talking about it at work, and she was like, "Hey, can you update my phone?"
I mean, this is a legit thing. If you have an Apple Watch and an iPhone, oh my God, like this is awesome.
Oh yeah,
right?
Super cool.
I want to mention, so regarding this other 14.5 feature, app tracking transparency. We've been talking about this. Apple has been talking about it. There's a bunch of interviews that you should watch. I recommend the Craig Federighi one with Giovanna Stern at the Wall Street Journal, which is a good one.
I have that one to watch.
Yeah, it's really good.
Looks good.
I have been told by a couple of Mac Stories readers that it appears that quite a few people cannot enable this setting, and there's an entire thread on Reddit as well as on the Apple support forums about the fact that a lot of people, it seems, they see this option, but it's grayed out and they cannot enable this setting. So
what like the overall one, is that what we're talking about?
the overall the overall toggle in app tracking transparency, so under the settings privacy screen, it appears that it's grayed out for quite a few people. And I just wanted to mention it. I'm going to try and find the link that I was sent. So if you're...
Could it be that like maybe these people just haven't had any apps that have tried to do it?
No, because you should still be able to interact with the toggle. And instead it's just grayed out, like if it's not available at all. So I'm going to try and find the discussion thread. So if you've been having this issue, check it out, because there's plenty of other people like you.
Yeah, Apple actually released a support document yesterday talking about this. And my guess is that it's buggy and it affects more than these people. But Apple says if you are under the age of 18, so you have like a minor Apple ID account, you can't set it. If your Apple ID is managed by an educational institution or uses certain types of configuration profiles, you may not be able to use it. And if your Apple ID was created in the last 3 days. Now, my guess is that, like I said, it's buggy and there are people who are running into this who don't fall into those buckets. But at least Apple has said, under some circumstances, this is expected behavior.
So I guess what in those instances, either the parent or the educational institution will do it for you, or it's off by default?
It's off by default, so an app can't...
So you just can't turn it on?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'd imagine that there'll be a 14.5.1 or something that maybe fixes this for some other people.
There's also a new emoji, but I guess we're going to talk about that later in the show. We're going to play our usual fun games for this new emoji. And I also wanted to mention, so if you're new to 14.5, I would recommend, we talked about this before, play around with Siri. There's a bunch of new Siri features, but I particularly want to call out the integration with third-party music players. So if you're a Spotify person, or if you use Tidal or Amazon Music or any other compatible music streaming service, you can now play your music with Siri using those services. In addition, this integration extends to other kinds of audio apps. So you should also be able to use Siri with third-party podcast clients as well as audiobook players. I was asked by some people on Twitter, why is the Apple Books app showing up in the Siri permission prompt? And that is because books can play audiobooks as well. So for music, podcasts, and audiobooks, you can now take advantage of the Siri integration. And lastly, I want to call out an Apple Music feature, which is the ability to share lyrics, to share real-time lyrics from the music app. This is really nicely done. For songs that have real-time lyrics, you can now long press on any line of text, and doing that will bring up this custom version of the share sheet. I say custom because I'm pretty sure Apple is using a private API, where at the bottom you see your usual extensions, but at the top you can scroll your lyrics and select the ones that you want to share. And once you've selected some lyrics, you can either make a story for the Instagram or Facebook apps, or you can share a little lyrics snippet over iMessage. And on iMessage, it's nice because it's also an audio player itself. So this special message that you send, it shows you the lyrics that you've selected, but it also comes with a play button. And if you hit play in iMessage, the song plays at the exact spot where you shared the lyrics. It's really nicely done. So really nice Apple Music feature.
It is April, the end of April, as we record this, and we are getting ready to start releasing our annual specials for Relay FM members. We used to do this in the fall, but with new iPhones and the podcast-a-thon for St. Jude and other stuff, we wanted to move these to the spring this year. So these are going to kick off Thursday, April 29th. Connected is actually going first, just kind of how it worked out. Whoop. The three of us have created something
truly special. Very special.
Very special.
Very special.
Very special. Can you guess what it might be?
We talked about things.
You will enjoy it.
We're always
enjoy it.
The rest of
special for you.
The rest of this episode is gonna be like this for 2 hours.
So if you are a Relay FM member, be sure you're subscribed to the crossover feed in Memberful. And if you're not a Relay FM member and you want to check that out, and a whole bunch of other annual specials, a bunch of shows across the network are doing it, you can join. You can learn more about the membership program at relay.fm/membership, or you can join Connected, and you will also get a longer ad-free version of this show by going to relay.fm/connected/join.
Yeah, and they're going to be throughout the whole month, right? There's going to be a bunch of specials coming out from some of your favorite programs.
Yep, throughout all of May, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's take a break and then get into some news. How does that sound?
All right.
I love news.
Yes, news is great.
Give me the news.
Yeah. Is this news? Is it?
This is supposed to be an ad break.
Oh, okay.
Give me the ad.
This episode of Connected is brought to you by Privacy.com. We have all had times where we've worried about our financial privacy online, where you're ordering something off the beaten path on a website that looks a little sketchy, or paying somebody directly. It can be stressful. You can worry about your debit card or credit card information. Well, Privacy is a tool that makes it easy to manage your financial life online while keeping your most important information secure. By generating virtual numbers, Privacy masks your actual bank information, so you don't have to worry about giving that real data out to people you don't know online. A service like Privacy is important. Just like everyone else, the vast majority of the shopping I've done, from groceries to household goods to anything else, has been online over the last year. And if you have a credit card number stolen, it is such a pain. You've got to go around to update it all these places. With Privacy, you can avoid a bunch of that, because there's a lot of control you get with these virtual numbers. And so you can decide who can charge a card, how much they can charge against it, and how often. And you can close any card at any time. So if a number you suspect has been compromised, it's not tied to a bunch of other stuff. Plus, you can make sure that you're never accidentally billed twice or upgraded to some other service without your consent. And Privacy is partnered with our good friends over at 1Password, so you can create, use, and save privacy cards directly within the 1Password dashboard. All of these virtual cards have the same security benefits as other privacy cards, so you can set spending limits, create single-use or merchant-locked cards whenever you want. Head on over to privacy.com/connected to sign up for an account, and new customers will automatically get $5 to spend on your first purchase. Go to privacy.com/connected to sign up. Our thanks to Privacy for their support of the show and Relay FM.
Oh boy.
Yeah. How do we start this?
We're going to talk about Basecamp.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably a fair expectation that the majority of our listeners will have heard about this story. I mean, it was trending worldwide on Twitter
Yeah.
at one point.
Yeah.
basically, the founders of Basecamp and Hey, Jason Fried and David Hannemeyer Hansen, put out a couple of blog posts which affected. I mean, the thing that people were really holding on to and talking about, basically talking about changes at the company, like Basecamp, which includes Basecamp and Hey. And the thing that has gotten the most conversation is a heading referring to no more societal and political discussions at Basecamp, and then it had been edited to on our company Basecamp account. Stephen, can you help me to talk about this? I'm really struggling to introduce this. We have a lot to say, but kind of setting the stage is tricky.
It is tricky. Due in no small part because they have changed those two blog posts repeatedly. I think if you haven't kept up with this, the one thing I would read first is an article on The Verge by Casey Newton called Behind the Controversy at Basecamp. And it really kind of sets the stage for what happened, and he talks to some employees. I mean, Casey Newton does a better job than anybody at talking about what's going on inside companies. And so I would go look at their article first. Basically, the gist of this is, and these posts had other things, but again, this heading is really what's garnered a lot of the attention. Initially, as it was written, they said that these conversations about politics, about things going on in the world, we're done with it at Basecamp. And they go on a little bit later and kind of come back to that and say, we are not a social impact company. Our impact is contained to what we do and how we do it. And the reason this blew up and the reason that we want to talk about it is not necessarily their decision, although I think it's the wrong one, but what this decision means in terms of people who already feel marginalized in the tech community. So people of color, women, very often are the smallest groups in a room, right? Tech is dominated by people who look like us. And when this sort of thing is shared and said, it takes away what voice or platform those people feel like they have. And they feel like their ability to speak up about things is taken away. And that's why this is such a big deal, because that's what this does. Now, we can get into the weeds, and I'm sure we will, but I think that's sort of why this is such a big conversation right now.
Yeah, and I feel like I struggle to an extent because I've never worked at a company. I've never actually worked for, no more than one person. I had a job when I was 19 and I had a boss, and that was just him. I've never worked in an office environment. I've never worked at a company. However, I think I've been around people who do long enough, and I've been exposed to the sort of Silicon Valley culture long enough that I think I know what's going on. And I think I can identify the problems with this, even though I've never worked at a company myself. Even though I think some ideas and some topics are pretty universal, and you don't need to know the details or the specifics of how Basecamp operates. Because in this story, for me, there's some universal concepts that I think deserve an explanation, that I think deserve explaining and helping others understand. And I don't think you need to be an expert in different types of tech companies to relate and to understand and to get upset at some of these decisions.
Yeah, I think that's fair. The thing that really drives it home is some of the response from people within Basecamp, and their leadership, mostly DHH, has continued to blog about it and talk about some of the things that happened behind the scenes. A lot of it that Casey reported on initially. I do want to go through the rest of some of their statements, because I think that while this one is really the heart of it, there are other things that are worth talking about. And I know there are people listening who have already said, why does everything have to be political? And that is the world that we live in. It's always been the case that issues of racism and sexism and nationalism, they intersect with politics, because in the United States and in countries around the world, those things have been either fought against or embraced by politicians over time.
Let's stop right there. I think it's pretty. I think this is pretty much true. All the time that, like every time I see somebody say, "Why does everything need to be everything has to be political? Why is everything so complicated these days? Why do I need to pay attention to the words I use, to the phrases I use?" 90% of the, maybe even 95% of the time, the person that says those things is a white male and not part of any minority whatsoever. And so right there's the first issue for me, which is the complaining that things are political, or that, you need to sanitize the way you speak, or that you need to pay too much attention. Oh, the good old days when we could say whatever we wanted and everything was so much easier. Usually it comes from a very specific type of person.
These types of things, race, gender, equality, stuff like that, they shouldn't be things that we should have to debate. Like, these are things that everybody should be accepting, and we should all be equal. But it's just not the case. This just isn't how it is. People aren't this way. So these issues become political or argued about or debated because these people have to do that to make the change that they want.
Yes.
Right? Because they are put into these boxes or tried to be like pushed to the side. So you have to speak up. And people that want to have things remaining exactly the same push back against that because they don't want their lives to change. So then you have two people with completely different, or two sets of people with like completely opposing objectives. So then it becomes like politics, because it becomes debates, it becomes fights, we get protests and stuff like that. But this is purely because individuals in these either underrepresented communities or of backgrounds that are not considered to be the old way or whatever. Like, I can't think of a good phrase for it, but like mostly it's like underrepresented communities, right? They have to speak up. And when you say, we don't want to have these conversations anymore, what you are saying is those people do not get their voice.
Yep.
Yes.
Because they have to speak up to change people's minds, right? So if you say you'd prefer them to not happen at work, what you're saying is, we just don't want to deal with your thing.
Yeah, you are. And maybe this is too much of a... No, I don't think it's too much of a strong word, actually. I'm going to say it. I think that is a dehumanizing approach, because you are effectively saying to those people, yeah, sure, but we don't really care. Like,
it's like as soon as these people are finding their voice, it's like, nah, I don't like this. Can you just stop doing that?
Like, I don't want to deal with that. It's like, you're not fixing the problem, obviously. You're making it much worse. And this is really the core of the issue for me, especially with the DHH blog posts. These posts are meant to be, I guess they're advertised as these deep thoughts, right? On this, and all these fancy words used in these posts, like this deep, like, oh, let me tell you the truth. Let me talk to you about tech company culture, where all this post is saying is, I've done some pretty racist things, but I get to decide what should be considered racist, not the person that comes with the complaint to me. So I, the white man, and also your boss, have decided that this is not racist behavior. And also, you're not going to talk about this anymore on company time. It's like, I can't even begin to it's very frustrating because it's like they're making it worse. On each post that comes out, they're just making it worse. And on the other side of this, you have you have people who feel unrepresented in the tech community, people who are part of a minority group, in respect to where they work at Basecamp, and they just wanted to voice their concerns on past behaviors. You can get more details on this in the Verge article, but basically we're talking about the fact that at Basecamp, about a decade ago, some employees at the company, they started keeping a list of quote unquote funny names of customers of Basecamp that, according to those employees, had funny sounding, I guess, foreign names, right?
And it was one of those things that seemed to start relatively innocuous.
Right.
It was like Simpsons characters, like superhero, and then over time started to morph into these names sound funny, and what is funny about them is they are not Anglo-Saxon names.
Yes. So the first, like that right there is the first problem. Like anything that doesn't sound like English to you is considered funny, and you're keeping a running list of those names. Like there's a privacy angle there also, but set aside the privacy concern that you're keeping a list of random customers and passing it around the office. Okay, pretty sure that's a privacy violation, but still, set aside that. There's also the human aspect of this. Like, it's not cool just that, to keep a list of people with, like, am I, because I'm Italian, is my name funny sounding to you? Like, are you making fun of me because I'm not American? And this applies also, obviously, to all kinds of
Background.
all kinds of backgrounds.
And like, look, we've all changed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Maybe over the last 10 years.
Thankfully.
People are changing.
Thankfully.
And thankfully in the right directions. So to have a thing that was started a long time ago that is wrong by today's standards, that's one situation, and we can look at it and be like, we were wrong for doing that, and we apologize. But the way that the reporting comes through from The Verge seems to suggest that instead of just apologizing, there was a lot of fighting and being like, you can't complain about it, you did it too, from the founders of the company. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're not setting an environment where people, like, one, you should be learning and growing, and two, you need to set the example that other people can too. Like, you can't just be like, oh, how can you complain about it or say it's wrong? I have proof that you added to the list. And it's like, what are you, a child?
And that is so wrong, right? Also, like, shaming somebody in the company message board, like in front of everybody. Like, first of all, like, what kind of do you think that's what a good boss would do?
Yeah, and the weird thing is, for all intents and purposes, it seems like it was this conversation that created this decree. It's like, why did you jump from that to this? That's such an overreaction. And so this is why people look at this, and like, I don't know this is the case, but you can't help but look at it and be like, you've just been waiting.
Yeah. Or there's there's got to be way more behind the scenes.
And it seems like the another aspect of this story that sort of caused this kind of reaction was how a bunch of people at Basecamp started sharing this image that I was familiar with before, and now I've actually been reading some more about it. It's a pyramid. It's this illustration made by the Anti-Defamation League, and it shows how there's like this illustration of a pyramid, and it shows how at the very basic level there's like things like microaggressions, right? And the idea is that hate and racism starts from the bottom, and eventually, layer by layer, you get to genocide, basically. And yes, we thank you, Ian, for sharing that photo in the Discord. And the idea is that it starts so simple, right? With some insensitive remarks, with some stereotypes, again, microaggressions, having your language be non-inclusive, and eventually, as you get higher and higher in the pyramid, the violence escalates, right? And this image is meant to show how it's important to understand the concept of inclusivity and you know and your biases, because we're all, especially people like the three of us, we all have our biases, and we've been growing up, we had to fight those biases, and we had to understand sort of to understand our privilege and trying to use it for good, I hope.
Yeah, and none of us claim to be perfect.
Not at all. Not at all. And I still, again, it's the small things. And I think it's important to understand that. Sometimes I get the pronoun of somebody wrong, but I don't get upset if somebody corrects me, right? That's the point, right, of improving.
You gotta learn.
You shut up, you listen, you apologize, and you do better. And this is the virtual cycle.
Yeah, it's like another example of this is when, a number of years ago, I don't remember, when people would start would start putting their pronouns into Twitter bios and in public forums. And I used to think, why do I need to do that? Everyone knows I'm a guy. Like, I don't need to do that. And I would see people do it, and it was like, and I was just like, I don't know why you're doing this. Like, everybody knows that you're a guy. Why are you putting like he, him pronouns on your bio? Like, I don't understand what's the point of that. And then as time has gone on, I've understood, this is normalizing. By me doing it, by all of us doing this stuff. And again, it's like in having this kind of conversation today, what we are doing is playing our part to show to everyone that this is normal. So then the people that are doing it don't have to feel like they have this like spotlight on them as like the only people that would do this are people that need you to know. Like, no, that's like the exact wrong thing to do. So it's like, but like these are the things where that seems like such a small thing to me to like, I don't need to do this. But by doing it, by just once making a change to my Twitter bio, I might make things a little bit easier for other people. And like, that's not hard, is it?
No, it's not. It's one of those little things that means everything to so many people. And the part about listening and learning and stepping back from your upbringing or past beliefs, what we've learned about what's going on at Basecamp over the last 2 or 3 days kind of reinforces the thought that we have of that's not something that these guys are willing to do. Part of the initial blog post was about abandoning the idea of committees, and they mentioned one of managers and like whatever, meetings are lame according to some companies, but there was also a committee that was based on, or working on, I should say, issues of DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And it was a huge committee with a large number of employees on it. And there was a Twitter thread going around last night as someone who had been on that committee, and that was disbanded. And all of that work is now going to their HR person, and not getting the input of employees from all these different backgrounds. And I don't know the makeup of that committee. I have some guesses, but not only are you saying, okay, you can't talk about these things at work with your coworkers, and then they later edit it and say, well, you could do it, just don't do it in official channels. Do it in Signal or on Twitter or iMessage, but don't do it in work, with your work accounts or whatever. But then saying, hey, I know there's this group of people of employees who are looking and wrestling with these issues and want to push the company forward in these areas, and then saying that committee no longer is valid and we're just going to take over that as the company. That's the wrong move. Because I can say this. I mean, Myke and I own and run a company together as two white guys, and we need and seek out and encourage feedback from all sorts of hosts that we work with, because
And we have historically not done the best job at this.
we haven't, and we're growing and learning,
Yeah.
and hopefully doing a better job of it today than we did yesterday, and then the day before. But that input is so valuable because our experience as two white guys is limited in scope, and we don't. I mean, it goes back to the top of this. We're like, why do things have to be political? Well, these things aren't necessarily political for us. Things like, how police are trained to deal with people that they encounter in their work. Ways that we have fundamental racism and bias built into societal systems. As a white guy, I don't encounter that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I never had the conversation with my parents of what to do if you get pulled over.
Yep.
But in communities with people of color, that is a conversation that happens again and again. And I need to hear that, because I need to know what my fellow human beings and people I work with and my friends, I need to know what their experiences are like so we can all move forward together. And shutting that down, telling that committee, your work isn't welcome here, it's disgusting.
And what's even more disgusting, in my opinion, is how in this second blog post by DHH, they're basically saying, if you disagree with this new company policy, you're welcome to leave, and we're offering everyone a severance package. And they, the way that they make it sound like they're so magnanimous and they're offering this great deal, while effectively they're saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but the idea is, if you're not okay with us, again, two white men who happen to be your bosses, deciding that certain behaviors and things we said are not racist, you should leave. Honestly, I know that these folks have written business books, and they are idolized by a lot of folks in the tech community. I know for sure in my Twitter timeline, I see a bunch of people thankfully upset. But really, I don't think they are that business savvy, because this is only going to hurt their business. Like, this is not...
Well...
Set aside the human aspect. Really, this is not a great business decision.
There's a whole section in that blog post about, we've taken too long to make decisions, and we're not going to look back, and we're not going to consider previous mistakes. And it's like, guys, like, you... I mean, I haven't been in business as long as they have, but I know that if we make a mistake as business owners, I want to learn from that. I want to consider what happened and then factor that into future decisions.
Like in life in general, you're meant to learn from your mistakes and remember them so that you can avoid them. Like that is a basic way of life in a functioning adult, like responsible adult, usually. The thing that upsets me also is this whole culture of, we're a bunch of tech bros and we don't care about the rules. We make the rules. And like, we don't care about past mistakes. It's all about moving forward. Like, do you read yourself? And like, do you understand that there's people out there at your company who are hurting and who just want to be heard and who just want to, point out that some things you said or did are considered racist and are just not right. And if your quote unquote solution is to shut them down and say, nah, we don't care. We don't talk about these things anymore. And also we don't dwell on the past. Is that really like a good, do they honestly think this is a good solution? And what's even more concerning is, and I see this, unfortunately, on some blogs, and I see this in my Twitter, I see it in my mentions. There's a lot of people who are upset at me for tweeting about these things these past few days. What's even worse is the cheering that I see for Basecamp. This is wrong on so many levels. And it's dehumanizing, it's sad, it's upsetting, and it's unfortunately a good example of a male-dominated culture applied to software that we are familiar with. And this hit me really hard because I've been like, I haven't done the best job in the past at really reading about certain topics or, educating myself about certain things. And this, for a bunch of reasons, also because I'm in a much better place right now, mentally speaking, than say 6 months ago. I don't know, it just hit very close this time. And it was, I don't know, it just felt like I'm really upset. And I wish that we could do something. I know that, maybe just even talking about it and discussing it is something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I had the right, I wish I had the right words. I wish I could explain. I wish that I could explain to these people, like, don't you see that at a human level, like, you are wrong, that you should listen, you should shut up and just listen to people different from you. But they seem to be pretty set in their ways, so it's too bad.
I have a couple of things I want to say to just try and make sure I tie some bows that I want to tie on this. So, you might be asking yourself, what's wrong with them saying don't talk about it at work, but you can talk about it anywhere else you want? By saying you can't talk about it at work, you are communicating that you don't want your employees to be political with their coworkers, right? And so you can have these conversations in other places, but if you're an employee of this company, you're going to be aware of the fact that if these conversations bleed over into work again, you're in trouble.
If your existence alone is considered political, then it means that you're not welcome as a person at that company.
Correct. That's a beautiful way of putting it, right? And if you've got a performance review coming up, you're maybe not going to send that tweet.
Yeah.
Right? In case you're going to get in trouble about, they're going to look down on you because now you kind of have an idea that your employer doesn't want you to be a political individual. There are ways to deal with whatever this problem is that they are having vastly better than what they're doing, right? You could look into new HR initiatives. You could look into conflict resolution. You can sequester these conversations to certain places of inside your tools, right? You can say, look, we don't want to get into this argument in the general channel. We have another channel here. If you please go and talk about it. This is a very normal way of moderating discussions, right? You can ask for civility amongst your people, right? So let's not get into flame wars. You can't raise your voice at people at work, and that also includes in the way that you talk to people in digital tools. You could listen when people talk. You could take actions where needed. I personally believe that discussions on topics are fair. That for the people involved, discussions that it's not just one side on a topic. And you can come to it and believe what's right and what's wrong. And I try not to deal in absolutes because the person on the other side of your debate also believes in right and wrong, but it's in the opposite. Right? So the best way to try and deal with that is to discuss it. Because if you crush people down and say, your opinion is stupid and not valid, on any side of it, no one can learn, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got to be able to have conversations because otherwise everyone just gets entrenched. And to Basecamp, to Jason Fried and David Hannemeyer Hansen, you own your business. You can choose to run it however you want.
Yeah.
Right? If you're happy with the decisions that you make and you're happy with the people that you push away and you say to people if they don't like it, you can leave, totally fine. But it's going to change the perception that people have of you. You need to accept that. People will say you're wrong. People will say you're right. But you have to look at who is saying that and decide if that's the kind of company you want to keep. Do you want all the employees that you've got left and the company and the employees that you attract? Do you want to hear people saying, when you hear people praising you or hearing people say that you're wrong, do you like the makeup of who those people are? If they are, fine, you do you, man. But I believe that you're doing this wrong and you're doubling down. And so that's on you. If you don't like me or don't like what I have to say, totally fine. It's a big world. But look at who's saying that you're right. Like, I saw somebody post today, it's like this made it to Breitbart.
Yeah. Oh, great company.
Right.
Right?
What company you keeping now? You happy with that? Because they agree with you. So if you don't agree with them, maybe you haven't explained yourself properly.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I think that's all right. And I think that it says so much that they're telling people, hey, if you want to go, that's fine. Right? Like,
So, you don't like this, there's the door. It's like,
yeah.
nah,
Yeah. And they couch it
in.
in, base campy stuff of, hey, we'll give you a bunch of money to, but the thing that kills me about it, and I mean, there's so much of it that just is so hurtful. It's that, I think for a long time, people thought that these guys and that this company was like kind of on the right track, I've read some of their books over the years. And even though DHH has gone on like a Twitter rampage the last little while, I've thought of them as like, yeah, these guys have this cool business and they make these products. And as a company that makes products, like, kind of looked up to their success, and that's hard too. And I saw a lot of tweets as this was breaking from people who kind of said similar things. There was one tweet, and I tried finding it for the show, and I couldn't find it, so I apologize. But it was from a woman who had a startup, and she was like, I really looked up to the way they ran their business, and I feel heartbroken over it. And I was like, yeah, that's true, because even though you don't think people look up to you, people do. And when you espouse these sorts of ideas, you are putting your weight behind them. And you're saying that it's okay to treat people this way, and it's okay to shut down these types of conversations. And that's part of the hurt too. It's part of the hurt that I feel. I mean, I feel empathy for the best that I can for people who are inside this company who've had their voices silenced and been attacked by their bosses. But I also feel pain for our community, that our tech community isn't better than this in so many days, and that there are people who are in our community and who are leaders in our community who have this way of thinking that they think is okay. And it grieves me for our little community on the internet. And, we want to be better, and there's lots of people, and I truly believe that there are more people who want to be better than people who don't. But it just feels so dark and so heavy at the same time.
Can I just say one last thing?
Sure.
Yes, please.
David Hannemeyer Hansen and Jason Fried turned their company into a literal political tool.
Yeah.
They are using their company as examples in Congress, like the home of politics, right? Mm-hmm. So politics are okay when there's money.
Or when it's in the... Really what it is, I think, they're okay with politics as long as it's their politics. It's the politics that are in their hands. They don't want to give that power to their employees.
Politics fine when it's within your worldview. Then it just becomes a nuisance.
Then we're off to the races. And I'm pretty sure I saw something where they reckon, like, they still want people to talk about the political issues of Basecamp.
Yeah.
Like, because like David Hannemeyer Hansen gets to stand up in front of Congress and make his big speeches.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it goes back to what we said, right? That that so many things that so many people face in everyday lives due to racism, sexism, oppression, those things have to be political to move forward. And if you don't feel those things, you don't think they're political, right? I mean, the whole worldview is so broken. But you're right. I mean, it's hypocrisy to say, oh, well, we're going to use our entire company as this weapon against Apple. And I don't even care if it's against Apple. In fact, I think like it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. And, but when the other side of the coin is, well, we're not going to talk about these other things. We're not going to allow conversations about other societal issues. It's being a hypocrite at best.
I do believe people are possible of making mistakes. I really hope they change their tune on it.
Me too.
And from my perspective, if they do and they say like, we were wrong about this and this is what we're doing to move forward, I will accept that myself. I mean, it's on to everybody else to accept it. Like, I believe that people are capable of screwing up, and it's how they deal with it. And you can screw up, and it's very normal to dig your heels in like they're doing right now. Because when the whole world is turned against you, it's very easy to take that initial view of like, oh no, you're just not understanding.
Yeah, it's like
right. And I've been in these situations before where people tell me I'm wrong about something, or like I'm doing something and it's not what I mean, and I just try and like explain and explain and explain when I'm like just pushing and pushing, and it's not the right thing. And ultimately, you've just got to back off, take a beat, and realize where you're messing up. And if they do that, you know, I'll be like, all right, like now let's try and turn back the clock and see where we move from there, huh? But I don't think that's going to happen, but I want it to.
Yeah, and it would be, if that were to happen, if they were to come out and say, hey, we have royally screwed this up, these are things we're going to do to fix it, that could be turned into such a good example for people to say, yeah, change is possible in these areas. And I just don't know. Let's take a break. Is that all right?
yes.
Okay. We'll do that, and then we'll talk about email, and then we'll talk about emoji. It's a weird week this week. This episode of Connected is made possible by Memberful. Memberful is the easiest way to sell memberships to your audience, used by the biggest creators on the web. If you are a Connected Pro member, you're a member of Relay FM via Memberful. As a creator, you can generate sustainable recurring income while diversifying your revenue stream. Memberful is that platform that we turn to for our membership because they make it super easy to generate revenue and deliver bonus content to our members. It has integrations with all sorts of tools, so you can get podcast feeds through there. It integrates with email platforms, with Discord. I mean, our membership has a lot of stuff in it, and Memberful is the hub for all of those things. And it has been great to work with them over the last many years. Maybe you're already producing content and relying on advertising or other means of income. Well, Memberful makes it easy to diversify with everything you need to run a membership program, including custom branding, gift subscriptions, Apple Pay support, free trials, private podcasts, and tons more, while leaving you, the creator, in full control and ownership of everything that relates to the audience, your brand, and your membership. If you're a content creator, Memberful can help you monetize that passion. Get started for free at memberful.com. There's no credit card required. That is Memberful, memberful.com. So go check it out. It could be the start of something really exciting. Our thanks to Memberful for their support of the show and Relay FM.
So for no particular reason, Federico's back on Apple Mail.
Yeah. As soon as we saw what was going on at Basecamp, John and I knew right away that we wanted, and like we needed to do it quickly to move away from Hey. That's not the kind of service that I want to support, that I want to align my company with. It's, something that we decided very quickly that we wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Like, I just want to say on that, like,
yeah,
companies are bigger than people. And like I agree with what you're doing. I mean, I'm gonna also move the account that I was using away from Hey, but like frankly, I wasn't enjoying it anyway.
Yeah.
Listeners, it wasn't very difficult for me. I know you loved it, right? But like it was not easy for me. Like it's not difficult for me, I should say, because I kind of had a real issue with it anyway. As listeners of this show have been doing. And by the way, one of the reasons we wanted to talk about this whole thing this week is because over the last few months we have spoken about Hey so much. Mm-hmm. That it kind of felt like we've given them a lot of free press, so it seems only fair to balance it out. I mean, let alone all of the other reasons, right? But that was definitely one of them. But, because it's like, well, you're going to go to Google. Like, Google has its own set of problems. Like, you have to make your trade-offs and decisions. Companies are bigger than just the people. There's also the people that are employed by them who might not, like all these people. If everybody leaves Hey, they're all going to lose their jobs, right? Yeah. So, I think this is the thing that people need to make their own decisions on one way or another. And it's basically just like we're not advocating that literally everybody should close their accounts down now. But if you want to, go for it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
sure.
I don't want to make it like this big, like, burn them at the stake kind of thing, right? And we
well,
sure.
Well, let me just add to that some of us didn't like Hey before it was cool. So
you loved it. You were in on it big time.
I got a lot of email.
You made it a part of your personal brand. That's how much you loved it.
just for the joke,
Yeah. Well,
not for the service.
I mean, if they apologize or if they change leadership, we can reconsider, I guess. But for now, we are not supporting that kind of business ourselves. And so for now, I just want to explain this. For now, we went back to the system that we were using before. So for over a decade, we've been part of what used to be called Google Apps, and then it became G Suite, and now it's Google Workspace, I guess.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Yes, it's very confusing. Many years ago, we were grandfathered into a free plan because we were using Google Apps for domains many years ago. And so this is something that we just kept around for free. When I moved to Hey, I kept all of the old users in the Google admin console. So we literally just had to switch back our DNS records and go back to Google. And for now, we're doing that. We are not happy with it. We just needed to move away from Hey and to have a working email because, we also have a business to run, and we need our...
Yeah, and if you're going to go somewhere, you go to the number one email provider. Yeah. Right. Like if you just need something to tide you over, if you want
But I can tell you, all the things I said months ago before switching to Hey still apply today. I'm not happy to be back on Gmail. I'm not happy that I'm using Google. I'm not happy with my system. I know that John is already yelling at his inbox. There's different ways that I'm trying to cope with this right now. So personally, I guess, before that, for context, we haven't found any collaborative service yet. One of the features that we loved about Hey was the collaboration, the ability to share threads, to leave comments, and to build collections of different email messages that belong to the same topic or area of interest. We haven't found a good replacement for that. Or by good, I mean something that is not wildly expensive or that,
Gotta come over to Spark. Come on.
I kind of don't want to do that.
Come on.
I kind of don't want to.
Come on.
So we're looking at different systems. I don't know. So right now I'm using Apple Mail again.
I'll tell you that my one pitch for Spark for you is the sharing features are agnostic of the email.
I know. We used it before. It's just I don't really like Spark's design and custom menus.
But you can get. Look. You can get over it,
I know.
If that makes sense.
I know.
Hey was a dumpster fire of design.
Wait, did you just shut down his email committee? That's not cool.
Oh, come on now. I'll fire you.
Can't fire
no
me.
more Steven talking at work.
I'm taking the big gun.
I agree with that. You should have a fancy blog post about it. So right now, I'm using Apple Mail. The way that I'm coping with it is, I guess it's been a sponsor of the show before. It's just a service that I really like, SaneBox. I went back and reactivated my SaneBox account, and so I have my old and trusted a triaging system made of Sane Later, Sane News, and Sane Black Hole. And so I've been aggressively dropping messages into the Sane Black Hole. That is the way that I'm trying to deal with this right now. I don't love any of this. I don't love Apple Mail. Actually, here's a funny tech-related thing that I wanted to mention.
It's about time. Bring the technology back to connected.
Yes, this is a tech show. Well, this is also a tech show. I think it's more of a human show at this point.
What is it? What? It is connected.
It's connected.
That's what it is.
When thankfully, from Hey, you can download your data. You can export all of your data, both your messages and your contacts. Your messages, you will get a .mbox file on your computer. And in Apple Mail, what you can do is you can select an account and then say File Import Mailbox, and you select the .mbox file type, and you let it run through all your messages, and you end up with a mailbox that says imported from whatever the name of the folder is, local mailbox. in Apple Mail. So on the Mac, so I was using my Mac yesterday for this. What's really nice about Apple Mail on the Mac, and it's so very surprising that this feature is not on iOS or iPadOS yet. I wanted to automatically file those imported messages into some different subfolders, especially for our billing email address. And I needed to have some receipts go into a folder and some other receipts go into another. And on Apple Mail on the Mac, this is all very easy to do with smart mailboxes, because I was able to put together a smart mailbox that said, show me all the messages from, say, PayPal, right, from this local mailbox. And so that was a filter that I put together in like 20 seconds. And then I just needed to select a smart mailbox, Command A to select all the messages, and drag and drop into the appropriate folder in my email account. And like it took me, 10 minutes to download all of my, all the messages from my main personal address, categorize them with smart mailboxes, drag and drop, re-import everything into my Gmail account. And that was done. Why are rules and smart mailboxes not available on iOS and iPadOS? I don't get it. It's been 10 years. It's been... No.
Can't get real email done on iOS.
It doesn't really make sense.
Do they sync?
No.
Like if you set them up on the Mac, you don't even see them? Oh, that's junk.
No. Not at all.
It's bad.
Yep. Mail is
yes,
old.
Yes,
bad.
It's strange because it was rumored last year. I remember Mark Gurman had a report saying that Apple was looking into more modern features for Apple Mail, things like snoozing, I think, or dealing with.
Oh yeah.
But that never actually happened.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
I mean, sure.
Right. Like, for all we know, that they were working on that, and maybe, fingers crossed, wishing it got bumped to this year.
So yeah, we are right now in email limbo, I guess, where
Again,
we're not really happy with it, but I also think we did we made the right call in switching from Hey, which honestly sucks because as a product, I really liked it. However, the way I'm built as a person and as a business owner, I cannot separate, the company and the people. And also, we all make our choices, and this is a choice that I wanted to make. This is not the kind of policy that I can get behind. And if you disagree with me, you can tell me on Twitter. I'm just gonna mute you because I don't care. And also, if you're that kind of person who wants to correct me and wants to, I've seen that kind of. Steven recently taught me a word that I've been searching for a while. Whataboutism, right? I think it's a really useful word because it describes a lot of people on Twitter. And it describes a lot of people that try to find a fallacy in your argument by trying to bring forth another problem that is totally unrelated to what you're just talking about. And so I got a bunch of people saying, so imagine oh, Hey is a problem, but what about totally unrelated issue? Like, what are you trying to accomplish with that kind of reply? And yeah, I've been muting aggressively. I don't block anymore because I have discovered that blocking only reinforces the cycle of negativity. Instead, I'm just muting people, so they will never know.
Muting's better because they never know, and they're just they're sending you stuff and you don't even see it. Yeah, and they're just talking at you and they don't even know. It's like ha ha ha,
It's beautiful.
Ha ha, I win.
It's beautiful. They just go into this secret box that nobody really wants to open, and it's fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah, and when a company has something like this, I mean, some people would say, well, you're just trying to make a statement by saying you're leaving them. But when it's a business and business owners, that's how you communicate with them. You communicate with your dollars.
Some person tried to tell me today that I was looking for attention. Buddy, I don't need the attention. I am the attention. So I don't need to do these things for attention.
I am the one who attentions.
Yes, whatever that means. So
I just watched Breaking Bad.
Let's not go too far down that road.
Well, good luck on your email journey. I'm not looking forward to moving away from Hey again. Because I know it's going to be a pain now because I set up an account for another person and now I got to get them to move and I don't know how to move that account. I haven't looked into it yet, but Federico, basically I'm going to ask you for your help at some point, I think.
Okay. I will help you. Don't worry. I got you.
I should never have done it. Why did I let you talk me into it? Now look where I am.
Well, look, I don't regret it. It's like after
you learned a lot about how you like email. You got that.
Yes,
you got that much.
Yes, and again, if they apologize, but for real, and they completely change their policy, or if they propose actual solutions in good faith, or if the leadership resigns, I'm up for switching back. But in this situation, not at all. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm. Okay. It's good.
It's time to play the Jeremies, but we're going to take another break before we do.
Gotta get ready.
Yes, stretch those emoji muscles. Lots of things can make workouts hard, but your socks shouldn't be one of them. That's why Bombas Performance Socks are built to be nothing but comfortable and supportive. Bombas Performance Socks have taken all the amazing innovations that make Bombas the most comfortable socks you've ever worn, and then they added their special Hex Tech performance technology. They're stitched with special moisture-wicking yarn and temperature-regulating vents that allow cool air to flow in and prevent overheating. And they come with a pillow-like tab to save you from blisters. Stay-up technology, that super annoying thing where your socks slip down? These don't do that. They have a special arch-hugging system and an extra layer of cushiony comfort on the bottom for the perfect amount of support. They come in different styles for every sport, with specific design features to help you optimize performance and keep you comfortable no matter what you're doing. And don't forget, like all of the other socks, for every pair of Bombas Performance Socks you buy, they donate a pair to someone in need. Get this, they've donated over 45 million pairs of socks so far, so you can get a good workout in and know you're supporting someone in need. And if you're searching for the perfect thing for mom, the Bombas Mother's Day collection has comfy gifts like colorful wildwear socks, ready-to-gift sock gift boxes, performance sock gift bags. So no matter what your mom is into, you can find something cozy for her. My entire sock drawer is Bombas now. I just got some of these performance socks from them, and they're fantastic. I am kind of free from a recent foot surgery and doing PT, getting back on the bike. And I've been wearing these, and they really are as good as they say. So go to bombas.com/connected today and get 20% off your first order. That's BOMBAS, bombas.com/connected for 20% off. That URL one more time, bombas.com/connected. Our thanks to Bombas for all of their support of this show, our feet, and Relay FM.
It is time for the Jeremies.
These unexpected Jeremies. What is this? Why in the spring?
This isn't a big one today, unfortunately, everybody. There's kind of only really 5
no.
new emoji.
Okay.
And then a bunch of additions. This was a very, very small list this year. Hopefully next year's list will be a lot more full. But I think of the ones that we've got, I think we've got some real classics up there. So we're going to be looking at 5 new emoji, 4 kind of updated emoji, and 2 where Apple have changed the artwork on them. And these are what we're going to be talking about today. We'll put some links in the show notes. I think we'll probably have, if you have an app that supports chapter artwork, you'll see the imagery because Steven's very good at that. So I'm sure he's going to make one too, right?
Yes, absolutely. You got to be able to see
So
them.
we have a list here. Federico's looking at the you got the image in the show notes there, Federico.
Image. Yes, I'm looking at it.
So the way that we're going to do this is Federico's going to say what he thinks the emoji is. I have the official wording, and that's what he needs to get to. And Steven will be rating. Steven, I am going to, because I realize I haven't done this, send a text message to you with the actual names of all of these things in the order that I made them in. So there we go. So Federico,
Yes.
What is emoji number 1?
So this is a heart with a fire. Well, this is this is passion, right? This is the image of passion. This is like when I talk about passion, I picture this. It's like a heart set ablaze, really.
It's the Ricky emoji.
Yes. So as for the official naming of this, I think they're doing a variation. It's gonna be heart something. So I'm going to say, I'm gonna get this wrong, I'm sure. Burning heart.
That is incorrect.
Why?
You were so close. You were really circling
What
this
is it?
one. You're like, it's always heart something. There's a fire. This emoji is called Heart on Fire.
Oh my god. Sure. On fire.
I really thought you were going to get this one. I was like, great, we're going to be 1 for 1.
I think it's the easiest one. One of the easiest ones.
It is the easiest one. Yep.
Beautiful.
Emoji number 2.
Okay, so this is there's, how do you call those in English?
I can't help you.
Yeah, sorry. You're on your own today.
You have to describe what you're seeing. Say what you see.
Okay, so
Federico.
this is not my official call on the name. I'm seeing a broken heart. However, we already have the broken heart emoji. So how do you say when you're like not curing something, you're mending something? Maybe is that a word? Oh my god, I don't know my English. Yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna go for it. Mended heart. Woo!
The actual name is Mending Heart, but like, come on, we're not monsters around here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, they are bandages, Federico. I think that's the word you may have been looking for.
Bandages. Yes, thank
That's
you.
2 heart rate monitors.
So I got nice. I am not 100% sure what you would use this emoji for. Maybe is it the response to your heart no longer being broken? Is that the thing?
Yeah, like I know you broke my heart, but now, like, this is the emoji that you attach to a selfie that you send to your ex when you're with somebody else. It's like, hey, broke my heart,
Interesting.
but
I could imagine using this, like, I don't know, like say Steven said something real mean to me and I sent him the broken heart emoji and he's like, sorry, buddy. And I could send him this one, be like, oh, you fixed it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, things are good now.
okay.
All right, so we have 1 right and 1 wrong.
Emoji number 3.
Okay. So this is the face I make after I mute somebody on Twitter. This is the whoo, type of emotion. Like,
Is that the official name?
yeah. Well, I guess this is the sound that I associate with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I make that face when, like, I don't know, where like you feel really accomplished. Like, yes, it's like whew.
Or like that was a close one.
Yeah. So what is this face doing? There's a cloud of air coming out of the face's mouth.
Mm-hmm.
That's an elaborate name.
So like when you breathe in, breathe out. I don't think Apple is gonna call it like breathing out face, because they like to go for like simpler combined names. How do you say it? Breathe in, breathe out. Yeah, I got it. Exhaling face. Wow, nice.
The official name is face exhaling.
Okay.
Don't forget that it is typically face first.
Okay.
For the naming conventions here. You know what I like? I like that you didn't do that, because if you would have done that, it could be suggested that you were, cheating a little bit beforehand. Like you were like boning up on old emoji names or whatever, right? To try and give you inspiration.
I haven't looked at the names. And for context, I haven't looked at the names.
I trust you.
And also in my overview for iOS 14.5, there's actually like a footnote about this. I had John write that section, and it's in the story. He sent me the section and the screenshot. I didn't proof it. I didn't read it. And also, it's like
Could have said anything.
there's a footnote that says like, "Hey everyone, John here. In the spirit of not breaking the Jeremies, Federico asked me to put together this section for the story."
Well, this all came from a conversation that the four of us were having, right?
Yes.
Where it was like all three of us gave a completely different answer of like someone should write it, I should write it, he should write it, and then John took it.
John took it.
And that was kind of how it went. Emoji number 4.
I have no idea, honestly. So this is a face with like a sort of a squiggly line as a mouth and 2 Dreamcast logos instead of eyes.
Face with Dreamcast logos. Ring the bell.
I mean, to me, this is the Dreamcast logo. There's also a snack in Italy that is shaped like that.
Face of Italian snack.
Dreamcast face. No, I don't know. What is this supposed to convey as a like? Oh, I'm so confused.
I have already used this emoji today.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I'm
I used
all
it
over the
already.
place. So what is the? I'm trying to approach.
Well, I can't.
I know.
I can't tell you.
I know. I'm trying to approach the Jeremies this time, like as a test for the actual Jeremies in the fall. Like I'm trying to think, what is the emotion that this emoji is meant to convey? Because I mean, I gotta do better at this game. What is the emotion that is supposed to be conveyed here? So this is when you are stressed out, or when you are confused, or
I actually have a fun little story that I can tell while Federico is thinking. So I was looking back through my messages today to see what it was that I'd sent so I could give context to why I used it. And if you remember the Zwidge, remember our conversation about Zwidges, where they combine emoji together to create a current emoji? And so on my Mac that I'm talking to you right now, I haven't installed 11.3 yet. And the 2 emojis that are combined to make this one are the face with the crossed eyes and a shooting star.
what?
Because I was like, why did I send that? The shooting star emoji. It's like, oh, because it was this one.
The shooting star.
Yeah, I will tell you right now, Federico, it is not going to help you in understanding what this is called. I just want you to know that.
I'm just going to say confused face.
Incorrect. Okay. This is face with spiral eyes.
Oh my God. It's literally what I said at the beginning.
I view it as dizziness.
Right.
Or like being seasick, maybe.
That's a good one.
So I'll tell you how I used it today. So Ian is looking into the possibility of whether we would get this is not as big a topic as it sounds like, a different office space. Just think it for the future. You know, office spaces are available now. Do we want to think about moving? Like, our lease will be up. Our lease is up already.
The
right?
mega office lease?
Oh, no, we've got a year. Sorry, we've got a year. Yeah, we've got a year left on Mega Studio. We've already passed a year of our 2-year lease.
Wow.
So we're just thinking, like, I know, it's bananas. Think about it now, right? Like, you know, let's just understand what the market looks like, and then we can maybe make a decision. And she found this place where it's like for artists, like creative people, and their whole thing is no doors.
What?
And I sent back the grimacing emoji and the face with spiral eyes emoji to be like, and I couldn't believe this. Like, my head would be spinning. Imagine a place with no doors and how terrible that would be for me.
Mm-hmm. People just wander in and take your things.
It was just, I can't even imagine working in an environment like that. Not that everybody needs offices, but just like your whole thing is there are no doors in this place. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
So the spiraling eyes, Dreamcast eyes. Emoji number 5, Federico. I will just say for context, Stephen texted me today and said, can't wait to hear what he says about this one. So, yeah, you got that going for you.
This is what you see when you are
vaping.
No,
this is the steam room face.
this is like you're in a steam room, you open your eyes, there's a creepy dude looking at you, and you see those eyes.
Yep.
Among the steam, right? It's like, hey buddy, and he whispers to you, hey buddy.
I bet people are always naked in Italian steam rooms.
Oh yeah.
So this face, why is it a bunch of faces? And I never get the names of the faces right. Face with steam. No, it's not that.
Incorrect. This is inexplicably facing clouds.
In clouds?
Yeah, I
Clouds of
don't
what?
know. Like, how big is his face? Is this like,
It's like
this face is as big as the sun? Like, I don't
moon?
understand.
What is
this
why? In clouds?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of clouds? Okay.
Clouds.
Okay. Facing clouds, really. How? Okay, so how are we going to use this emoji? Like, what's the purpose of it?
If it's, I like it if you're going to sneak up on somebody, or if you don't want. Oh, I know it. If someone asks you a question and you don't want to answer, you know that GIF where you like sink back into the bushes.
The Homer Simpson.
So Homer Simpson. This is the emoji version of that.
Like you're hiding.
I like it for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it for that. It's good. That is good.
All right.
Okay, so we've now moved away from kind of like these are the additions, the brand new emoji this year, and we're moving into more. Whilst these are new, they are variations on existing emoji now. So emoji number 6.
Okay. So the number 6 and the number 7 are, I guess, related. My assumption here is that up until today, the beard emoji was only reserved for the man character, and so I am going to say the number 6 and number 7 are person. So number 6 is person with beard, and number 7 is woman with beard. Oh, nice.
Interesting facts for you boys. So previously, there was an emoji called person beard, and it's the bearded man emoji that we've known forever. So Apple have actually switched out the art. So any time that you would have seen now like the old bearded guy emoji, it's now the person. So this is really hard to explain. Here's what I just did to test this. I was on my phone with 14.5 on it, and I selected the person with beard emoji, and I sent it to you guys by text message. And on my Mac, it is showing the old emoji that is now man with beard.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So
I think so.
They've kind of created man with beard and woman with beard, and then person with beard is now the gender neutral version, but they've changed the artwork out between those two. It's very weird. It's very like I can kind of see why they do it, but like that stuff, it always gets a little bit confusing.
Interesting. Okay.
So there you go.
Right.
Emoji number 8. This emoji and then the next emoji is why all the articles say there is 270 emojis, because these next two have like various variations of gender and race that have been added to them.
Yeah, I don't know like how they call these. So this we're looking at number 8. Okay, so it's a couple, right? I'm assuming like they gave a different name to the different combinations of genders and races.
There's only one name for the emoji, and then you can just choose between them all. In the same way that like
there's only one
all
name.
of the people emoji. There's one name, right? Because all of the people emoji, they have one name, but you can choose between races between them, right? So the emoji has just one name.
What is difficult for me here is that number 8 and number 9, they both show a couple. However, on the number 8, there's a what's the difference between these two? Are you sure these are not like the same emoji, just with different?
No, these are two different emoji, Federico.
Oh.
If there's one thing I know how to do, it's prepare the Jeremies.
Number 9, they are sort of kissing. And number 8, okay, number 8 is couple. Oh, no.
That is incorrect.
And number 9 is couple kissing.
That is incorrect. You,
Oh, no.
You completely ruined it for yourself. It's the other way around. Couple with heart and kiss.
But this is not fair because even the couple kissing has a heart in the middle.
I can't help you.
The names are bad.
I'm sorry. The names are what they are. That's, I don't control the names.
But you can still win. You have 4 right and 5 wrong.
Okay.
So
okay.
you can still pull this out.
This is gonna be a close one.
And these last 2, they should be easy ones for you because they're existing emoji.
So okay. So the number what's it? Number 10. So they gave the AirPods Max design, just like they did with the iPhone and the Apple Watch before, to an existing emoji called headphones. I know because the headphone emoji, we talked about it a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This one, this is an existing emoji. I've seen it before on Twitter, but there was blood in it. And I'm gonna guess that the update, like this emoji is here because Apple updated it. And I guess that this new version doesn't have blood, but has some generic liquid in it. Still, it's pretty easy for me because it's the same name in Italy. This is a syringe.
Correct. This is obviously now the vaccination emoji.
Right.
Which is why they removed what was previously like a blood test.
Yes.
Changed it out. So, final score, please.
The final score, correct 6, incorrect 5. Congratulations.
Thanks. I kind of wanted to do better.
You really squeaked in on this one, Federico. I'm not going to lie.
I need to have more points.
Yeah, but the one thing I'll say to you is wasn't really a lot of room for error this time around. So I was very happy that we had these 2 extra ones to give you that little boost.
Thank you. Still, I won. So I'm on a winning streak between the Apple event and the emoji. There's nothing.
You're champion of Ricky's and Jeremies right now.
There's nothing I cannot win these days.
All right.
Yes.
All right.
I'm very happy.
We got one last thing we need to do.
Okay.
I need to share something with y'all.
Just real quick.
Uh-huh.
Just don't need everybody to know this. All it says in the document is Steven's extra topic. Me and Federico have absolutely no idea what this is.
No idea what's going on.
That's right.
We don't know.
I've kept it from you, and I just need to share this with you.
If you bought something, I'm gonna walk out of the room.
So,
obviously you bought something.
Well, in a way, it's a purchase, I guess.
Go on. I swear, I'm gonna hang my headphones here and I'm gonna walk out.
I'm gonna send you all an image of something.
Oh, hang on a minute.
An image.
Oh my God, he did it.
Oh yeah. Well, no, this I totally accept.
Oh my God. So,
wow.
I need to tell a little bit of a story now because it's happening again.
My God,
I can't believe people keep doing.
No,
I can't believe people keep doing this to me.
Myke, have you looked in the middle of it?
Yes. So people keep doing this to me. Yesterday, Stephen booked himself in for a tattoo.
Oh my God, Steven.
And he was getting his sleeve filled in. And because Stephen has a sleeve. And he sent us a picture. And before the call today, I said to Stephen, you didn't show us the rest of it. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll send you an image. And as soon as it changed, it said Stephen's extra topic in the document. It started dawning on me that he never sent me the image. So Stephen now has added a line art version of the weird fish emoji to his... Do you both have it in the same place?
Yes, it's in
the
the
left
same
bicep?
spot. It's in the same spot.
Yeah, well, mine's on my right arm, but yeah.
Myke.
Oh, don't. I didn't want to get it.
Now 2 of us have it. Well, Steven, how did you explain the thing to your tattoo person?
Yeah. So I had to do some explaining. So the sleeve is like space motif. So I added like the Hubble telescope and a black hole and some other planets. And then I came up with a line art version of the weird fish emoji. And my tattoo artist was like, well, that's not really like a space thing. He said, is that COVID? I said, like, well.
Yeah, that's the problem with getting it today. Huh? I appreciate the guts that you had in trying to have to explain that to someone.
Yeah.
So I had to explain, well, I'm on a podcast with this guy from Italy, and we have this game.
Oh, God. Couldn't you come up with something
so there
else?
it is.
Bravo to you. Bravo to you. I hate you for
This
this.
is incredible.
Yeah, you're next.
This is incredible.
Because you've now put this on me. The thing is, the two of you have tattoos in that area of your body.
yeah,
I do now.
So if I have to get it in the same place, it would be literally the only thing on my arm.
Perfect. Oh my god.
Do I have to get it in the same place?
Oh yeah. I mean, yes.
Clearly.
My god, Steven, this is
All right, I need to start thinking about
Beautiful.
this. And I also need to talk to my wife about this. This is a conversation I need to have at home before I'm talking to you about
oh
it.
my god. Like
Oh, God.
I just thought that you were going to share the photo of the final design, and then I opened the photo with quick look and it got bigger and I saw it right there in the middle.
I had the thought, and then as soon as all I saw was his arm, and I just knew it was somewhere, and I had to wait and find it. Bravo, Stephen Hackett. Bravo to you. Bravo to you.
You know, and I wanted to do it in my own way because, you know, none
Yeah.
of my sleeve or anything has any color.
Sure.
And so I was like, well, I'll just do an outliney version.
Yeah, and my arm is full color, so obviously also the emojis is green and everything. And so Myke needs to come up with his own version.
I'll do it my own way.
His own
The
ver-
invisible tattoo
Nope,
way.
nope. That's
That's my way. My way is the invisible tattoo way. I already have it. Did I not tell you?
nope. That's not how it works. Steven,
right.
this is beautiful. Thank you. I was not expecting this.
How long ago did you have this done? Was it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, last WWDC that we did together, 2019.
Okay, so I have 2 years then, but to work out how to do this.
Sure,
That's fine.
sure.
Yep. I did mine last night. So that picture's kind of gross and swollen, but it gets the point across.
You're swole. What can we say?
Well, I think that does it.
It definitely does. What an episode. This is one for the ages, huh?
We got range for sure. Like,
If there's one thing we got.
I think I've made up for not having a Federico photo album. We have matching tattoos.
yes, I will.
You have matching tattoos with both of us.
That's true.
Federico, me and you now need to get a matching tattoo just for the two of us.
Okay.
Because, this is it. We have to decide now.
Sure.
Do we want the three of us to have a matching tattoo? Or
sets
we
of
just
two.
want to do it in twos? Yeah. Because me and Steven both have the Relay 5th artwork.
Right.
It's literally the same tattoo, though, which is a little bit different. And now the two of you have a matching tattoo. So do me and you need to get matching tattoos.
Right.
Yeah.
Or do I need to get one and join the two
Well,
of you?
It's
You
up
know?
to you, Myke. You can either get your hand tattooed, or you can get a full sleeve, or you can get a giant lion on your leg.
Oh, so your whole thing is if for us to have a matching tattoo, I have to get like all of it. Like I can't just get a little
Yeah,
bit.
you have to replicate his entire sleeve.
Oh no, you gotta get the whole thing.
Oh boy.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh boy.
We'll think about it.
If you want to find links to stuff we spoke about, head on over to our website. It's relay.fm/connected/343. While you're there, you can send us an email with feedback or follow-up. Or if you're not a member, you can become a member and get Connected Pro, which is a longer ad-free version of the show each and every week. And as a reminder, starting on April 29th, that is tomorrow as I'm speaking, throughout the month of May, Relay shows will be publishing annual specials for our members. Connected is going first. So go check those out.
We're going fast.
Yes, we're leading the way.
Andiamo per primi.
Imperceptible, Federico. Just imperceptible.
I don't know what it was, but I'm tingling. I don't know where it was. Membership.
Yeah.
Yes. If you want to find us online, I got distracted by the whispering. If you want to find us online, we're around. You can find Myke on Twitter as IMYKE. Myke is the host of a bunch of shows here on Relay FM. Myke, is there anything you want to share this week?
This is completely off the beaten track of shows, but people may know that I created a journal product called the Theme System Journal along with CGP Grey, and it's like a notebook. Well, we have just created a blank dot grid notebook based on the same design. So if you haven't had a journal or you enjoy your journal, we have a product called the Subtle Notebook. You can get it at cortexmerch.com.
Cool. They look really good. I love the cover color a lot.
Thank you.
You can find Federico online. He is Vitici on Twitter, Viticci, and he is the editor-in-chief of MacStories.net and the champion of the Jeremies April 2021. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Send you a heart on fire emoji in just a second.
I appreciate it.
Yep. True passion.
You can find me on Twitter as ISMH. I also host a bunch of shows here on Relay FM, and I write over at 512pixels.net. If you do like podcasts, and you probably do because you're listening to one right now, go check out Material here on Relay FM. Each week, Andy and Flo talk about what's going on in the world of Google and Android. It's a great show. It's how I keep up with that side of things. So go follow along at relay.fm/material or search for Material wherever you get your podcasts.
Google I.O. is just a couple of weeks away. Did you know that?
I know. Very soon.
Mid-May.
They didn't do it last year, so it fell off my radar a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Privacy, Memberful, and Bombas. And until next week, gentlemen, say goodbye.
Arrivederci.
Cheerio.
Oh, there's a lot of delay again.
Bye, y'all.
Oh, wow. It got really bad in the end.